Hey, frequent flyers or frequent cruisers, actually. Since today we're going to do a cruise special. Finally, we've gotten our friend Marshall Jackson back on, and he's been cruising. Have you done any cruises lately?
October, in Europe.
October.
Yeah, around the
And that
booth.
was Cape Canaveral to.
No, that was in Italy.
That
From
was in Italy. Yeah. So you did no, it wasn't just Italy. It was like Montenegro and a bunch of other stuff.
exactly a couple places in Croatia as well. So very nice trip.
Mm. Good trip, and it was one of the newer celebrity ships, right?
One of the older celebrity ships, actually. I was originally I was booked on Celebrity Beyond, one of the newer ships with Captain Kate, and we had to reschedule last year. So this was the alternative time and date we could agree upon. But Celebrity Constellation, it was good enough though. It was nice. It was
So
nice.
at least it wasn't celebrity constipation. So it
Yeah,
things were the plumbing was doing okay, right?
absolutely.
I by the way, I heard the sad news about Captain Kate and her cat,
I know. Bug naked.
and it and
Unf-
it was also we had, as we talked about earlier, we had dental surgery for our cat, also substantial dental surgery for our cat last week, and it was kind of we wanted to talk to the doctor a little bit. And for those who don't know, who is Captain Kate and what's so special about her?
Captain Kate is a Captain Kate McHugh is a captain for Celebrity Cruises, captain of Celebrity Beyond at the moment, I believe. Uh,
That's the one that has the restaurant that goes up and down, right?
exactly, the magic carpet. But she was the first American female captain of a like big major cruise ship line.
And she had a cat and a
Have a
charming
cat,
cat, a Sphinx cat.
exactly, named Bug Naked, who traveled with her wherever she said.
Right. Yeah, and because obviously those are you can't bring a cat on a cruise ship, unfortunately, but you can since she's working there and since it's a
Yeah,
hairless, right? It's probably easier.
exactly. But if you're the captain, you can do a lot of things other people can.
Right. Yeah, people in power, they can do a lot of things, can't they?
It's kind of like being the governor of your own territory, I think.
Exactly. And unfortunately for her, it wasn't an old cat. It was like 4 or 5 years old,
Yeah,
and it passed away during it. They couldn't wake her up after the
yeah.
surgery.
Struggled after surgery, struggled coming with anesthesia, I think, and just didn't make it.
That sucks. All right. But anyway, so yeah, and speaking of, it's the same area that I'm going on a cruise this summer. And we booked the Sun Princess, which is also a new ship. And we booked it about 3 or 4 months ago. We booked this cruise. It starts in Athens. It goes to Santorini. It's supposed to go to Santorini, and then it was supposed to go to Kotor in Montenegro, and then it was supposed to go to Corfu, which is another Greek island, and then Sicily, and then from Sicily all the way to Barcelona. And I was excited about, I can't say that I'm excited about Princess, but I'm excited about the ship
Right.
because it's very different than any other of the Princess ships. Is
Sure.
that accurate?
I think so, and I think you'll find. Is this your first time on Princess?
It is my first time on Princess. It's kind of like we know that Melinda's uncle, who is
Yeah.
like 80,000 years old or something, they love Princess and they've
I
taken like a
A lot of people
million
love
cruises with them.
Princess. I think you'll find Princess comparable to Celebrity, ish. Uh, yeah,
Isn't the crowd on Celebrity a little bit younger?
it could be, but I think you'll find the experience, the amenities, stuff like that, to be similar. Uh,
Okay.
it's a Carnival Corp company, but it's up market, if you will.
Right. Yeah. So, and we booked. They have different types, a lot of different categories when it comes to the cabins that they have, and we booked a deluxe balcony, which means that it's one of those where the ship kind of goes in and out a little bit,
Yeah.
meaning that our balcony was a lot bigger, and also the cabin was a little bit bigger. And so usually the cabins are identical, but when there are like nooks and crannies where when they go out a little bit and stuff, then there are opportunities. So they charge a little bit of a premium for that. And $2,000 per person, something like that, maybe a little bit more.
Not
And it
bad.
included their lowest package, and the packages that they have are we'll get to that in a minute. But we were able to then all of a sudden there was a sale, and we were able to do an offer where we got something called an upgrade to something called the Sanctuary, and I think that it was the difference here about with compared to like the Haven or what's Celebrity. No, I mean Royal. Don't they also have one of like something similar now?
On the newer ships, they have the suite neighborhood, if you will, and certain.
Yeah, but you have to be in a full suite to get that,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for Norwegian Cruise Line. The Haven is
Hey,
only you have to have a suite. You can't come in. These guys have done it differently. We have a junior suite, which in reality is, like 35-40% bigger than a normal cabin.
right.
It has like a curtain where you drag it, and there's an area with a couch and its chair, and there are two TVs. One TV's for like in the bedroom and one extra one. And it's got some extra, and also since it's a Sanctuary junior suite, it has some extra benefits and stuff. So it was like very little money. And also the biggest thing, which you'll appreciate, their premium deluxe beverage package was included,
Yay.
which is good for Daddy, and so that was also a big deal of it, and also that tips were included on that. So we upgraded to that. But all of a sudden, we got a little bit of an email. So let me just share the screen here with what we're talking about. And I find it kind of comical that if you see that the original routing is up here in this little map,
Hmm.
but the updated one is down here. so, so here you see we're going the original routing to Santorini, to Kotor, to Corfu, to Sicily, and then over to Barcelona, right?
Right.
But here, we're going to the most boring of all islands in Greece, which is Crete, which both Melinda and I have been to,
Yeah.
and then Bar in Montenegro, which is a very uninspired village
I am
that is
familiar with
most of the excursions go to
Couture.
you guessed it, hump on a bus for 2.5 hours each direction to Kotor, where the ship was supposed to go. So Santorini was obviously a big one. Neither Melinda and I have been there, and also Kotor. We've been to Montenegro, but we haven't been to Kotor. It was something that we were wanting to do, and we got notified, and I mean, shoot happens, right?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that should we chalk it up to that and just suck it up?
Well, I would say, yeah, that does happen. I'm looking at the map of Montenegro now, just trying to get an idea of what you're missing. And I can tell you that, I was in Kotor on that celebrity cruise recently.
Right.
What a beautiful place.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
about that. Rudy Maxa, our common friend, was also talking very, 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 very positively about that, and I was looking forward to it. And there were a couple of things we wanted to see in Kotor, and you can still get there. It's just that it's 2.5 hours on a bus, or if you want to rent a car and drive yourself, it's 2 hours
Yeah.
each way, which is a little bit less convenient than
A lot less exciting.
it's a little bit less convenient than
Yeah.
parking your boat right there, right?
Sure.
So what should people do in the situation when they kind of are in the situation where they're if for example if it was me, so I'm not a big cruise ship, so cruise ship, they sell excursions, that's a big part of their business, and I get that, and a lot of people buy those excursions because it just makes it more convenient. And for people who are not as adventurous, it's all organized. You walk off the ship, you walk straight on a bus, you get to the thing. There's a dude with a sign or a flag, and he walks around and he tells you, don't touch that, don't eat that, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
and then they show you the guy with the marble guy, that marble statue guy with the little wiener, and then they put you back on the bus, and then they bring you back to the ship. So I get that people want to do that, but there are many tricks that you can easily do by doing a little bit of research on your own. And we did that when we were last year. We were in Alaska. We were on Norwegian, and we did an Alaska cruise. We had a great time, except the teppanyaki guy gave me and Melinda's mom COVID. Besides that, it was great. But there was a stop that we did in Valdez. And I know that some people might think that it's Valdez, but it's not. It's Valdez. That's the way that's what they call it up there, the locals. And we wanted to go to see the Mendelssohn Glacier when we were there. And I Googled it, and I said Mendelssohn Glacier. And it was, the ship wanted $350 per person.
Right.
You take the bus into the city, you go on a boat, you go out to the glacier, and you go see the fjords, and there was a bald eagle. It was a good excursion. And then you go over there, and you get a snack on the boat, and they fish glacier ice out of the water, and they give you some blue drink that looks like windshield wiper fluid to christen yourself or whatever. Some horrible drink there was. Right. And it was a great day for us. And we were like, okay, so it's 300. I don't remember exactly. It's like $350. Let's say that what it was. And then we found it and it was exactly the same thing. There was the itinerary was identical, and the times were identical. So, but it was $140. So obviously, the cruise company they pocket a couple $100 a person, which is, I'm okay with that. Yeah. So I booked of course, the cheap one, the cheap guy that I am, and I booked that. And when we got off the ship as one of the first one. We hopped on the bus that goes into town. Like they have all of these places, they have free buses that go into town. We did, and we walked around for about half an hour. We went down to the port, and lo and behold, there is half of the ship, or like not a lot of. There was maybe 50 people total from the ship, and they were exactly on the same boat as us. But obviously, we had saved $400.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. You probably with the same company and they just had a different guide walking them around or whatever.
Right, and for this particular, it was exactly the same because we were all on the same boat and they were making the same announcement, and the boat went to the whole thing. They just happened to sell available spots that the cruise passenger had bought. They sold them to other people.
Oh yeah.
So, but for Couture, for example. If you have bought a tour there, and people who go on cruises, they might plan it. What should people do if they have bought from a third party? Say we bought an excursion, we paid $300, it's non-refundable, and we paid for that. What should they do with the cruise ship? What's fair here when they've changed if we say that Santorini, which is a completely different island, it's impossible to get to from Crete.
So,
what should people do?
I'll tell you my experiences with that. And, we buy, I'd say 80% we buy on our own if we're doing a tour. And every now and then we'll buy something through the ship, especially if it's a new place, we're not familiar, and we just kind of want to get a taste of it. But, and in fact, this happened on the most recent cruise. We had a couple of ports or a couple of tours got canceled. I've had ports canceled. Most of the ones we buy, if the ship cancels the port, ours have come with a refund. There was a guaranteed refund if the ship skipped the port for any reason.
Right.
The second part of that is, depending on the credit card you use, you could look at like some sort of maybe a chargeback, or even filing under the travel insurance. And granted, I'm not all that familiar with that, but I would think about it.
Right.
At least. And like an extensive thing like this, I wouldn't hesitate to call the cruise line up or write them a pleasant letter and say, hey, if this tour will not refund your money and they changed the port that you're going to, I would try to hit the cruise line up for at least a little onboard credit or something along those lines.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good play because it's not the people who are giving you the tour that's at fault. So I do think that I think the advice should be don't buy it well in advance because I think that it's probably right now I feel like we're in at borderline when I feel like it's not a big problem for me.
Yeah.
Um, I've already, we haven't bought our plane tickets. Our friends have, like probably 5 years ago, I was going to say, but the people we're going with, they bought their stuff a long time ago,
Sure.
like a long time. But they bought everything from the cruise line because I don't know. I guess they don't trust us or something like that.
Well, if they're not that experienced cruisers, or don't travel that much, I don't know. They may just feel better doing it that way.
Right. So, of course, they offer refunds and they're changing it. But so I'll tell you what we're doing, though. We made a new battle plan. We're going to go, because we've been to Montenegro before, we're going to drive 45 minutes to the border to Albania.
Hey.
Yeah, there's a couple of cool medieval villages, probably known as modern time Albania. That are across the border. And I haven't been to Albania. It's one of my, I've been to over 130 countries, but I still have a couple of holes to fill in. So that's one of the.
So what is it? Taking lemons and making lemonade. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So we rented a car. We found a car rental company, and it was $40 for the day. Picking up the car, and also it looks like our friends are also going to rent a car and follow behind us.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not manual. and I have no issues because I grew up in Norway and 95% of all older when I grew up were manual. But
I could drive a tractor, so I'm good.
You know how to drive a tractor?
Yeah.
Don't they have like 50 gears?
Some can, absolutely.
Not 50, but like 15.
Yeah, there's a few gears, absolutely. But
there you go.
I think.
So it's funny also that they're also using for the picture of this particular cruise that they're selling is Santorini, which they are not visiting anymore. So I guess their IT, and it's been that way for about a week. No, I feel like we're 5 months out, so I'm not going to make a big stink about it.
But I'm curious, did they give you a reason why they changed?
Port congestion.
Okay. Well,
but there's two of them. So I don't know. That to me kind of, I don't know.
Huh. Santorini can get busy. I haven't been in a while, but
right.
It's unfortunate to miss it. It's a great
but
place.
so we're going back to Crete. We got a battle plan for that as well. So I think we're going to be okay. I just out of curiosity, that's why we wanted to talk about it a little bit to kind of figure out what the story is. But so looking at so here is what we have, the Sanctuary Collection, right? And it's a little bit different than you get everything that a suite does except for the suite lounge. That's the only difference of what you get. So you have a specialty restaurant like Cagney's on Norwegian. Well, you're not a Norwegian guy like us, but they have their. So, like, what is it called on Celebrity? It's called Blue or something like that.
It's Aqua Class, and the restaurant is Blue.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's not a good comparison. But on Norwegian, they have for people who are in the suites or in Haven. You can have suites and Haven can use the Cagney Steakhouse. Okay. But here's the premier package, right? So it is. This is one of the things that get included, right? It is, there you get all of everything that's served of drinks that is served are actually included, and then you get unlimited specialty dining, which is also a big deal, I think, specifically for this ship that has 24 restaurants because it's pretty big, right? And then unlimited Wi-Fi for 4 devices, and also all tip is included.
Hey, that's a good deal.
I think so too, and also the unlimited professional photos.
That's a good deal for somebody.
Yeah, they have that, and they also have the enhanced room service. So you can get stuff delivered from most of the restaurants, right? Different ones. So
Yeah.
you got a decent menu going on there. And then there's the club, and the club has it has a private cabana. Well, actually, you have to pay for the cabana, but it's like a pool and all sorts of things. They've got a cool menu in there. It's a separate area on the ship,
You know, we
and
like to be separated from the riffraff.
we sure do. That's a good thing, and not often that happens, but it happens here, so that's good for the amount of money it was. I mean, it's literally the difference in the beverage package and tax and tips is the difference, right? So it's not a big deal. And then the Sanctuary Restaurant, which is the whatever dining room, you can go whatever you want, and the Suite Lounge is only for suite custom full suites, and we are in a mini suite in a Sanctuary in a mini suite. That's funny because this is like the prices have gone up dramatically, right? And so, I mean, if you look at it, I think it's an interesting, more modern, lots of woods, very Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Our layout is like that, I think. I guess they're not showing more than two pictures, huh? Oh, there we go. So, yeah, so you get a sofa, and there's a curtain across where you can. So, if somebody gets up early in the morning, they can go, AKA not me, but Melinda, and then she can
Right.
just close the curtain, sitting there reading or sitting on the balcony and stuff. It's in June, so it's probably the weather's going to be good. There's a big wardrobe, as you can see, and a shower and stuff. So cool stuff. And there are some other things that comes with the suites as well, which first minibar setup and some other things I think is there. So it'll be a good time.
No,
All right, and you found some big news. Wow,
yeah.
advertisement. Yes, look at that. That's the newest celebrity cruise ship. That's
Not quite. That's like the ship
maybe
I
the
was
cruise industry
on.
news, the number one in industry reporting. Maybe they need to update their photo library a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is big news.
I think river cruising is an interesting move on the Royal Caribbean Group's part, which a celebrity is a part of. Uh,
Right,
that river cruise market is unique, and I'm like this will really let them hold on to some customers who have kind of
right.
dithered with the Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, and now they're offering a river cruise product, and you have matching loyalty across both brands. So I think that's pretty interesting.
I completely agree with that. So they're going to make 10 ships, transformative ships. What does that mean?
Oh, probably that's probably cute marketing buzz for. I guess they're transformative from their regular ocean liner type ships, but we'll see
Right.
what they do.
Well, you have to. They have specific measurements in order to go on the European rivers.
Oh, sure.
Right. And it's interesting. Why do you think they chose out of all the brands that they have? What are the brands that Royal Caribbean has?
Silver Sea
Uh huh.
is the really upmarket small ship line. Celebrity is probably the right brand to place this at. Would just celebrities upmarket from Royal Caribbean. I think they call it modern luxury. I may be making that up. That could be some other cruise line, but a little more upgraded food and just sort of an upgraded experience from the mass market lines. And I think Celebrity is probably the right place for this, for the river cruise product.
Right. So river cruises are historically a little bit more money
Yeah.
than ocean cruises are because of the number of cabins is very low, right?
Yep.
And right now it's Viking that's number one, and Amma Waterway is number two. Those are kind of the two big players. Um, and this is a big shakeoff for them. So Viking has expanded to doing a lot of stuff lately, right? They have ocean ships now and had it for a while and are pretty
Right.
successful. And they have the longest of all the world cruises. It's over 200 days was one of them I
Wow.
saw. So and also yeah, like a Scandinavian flair of sorts, right? There's also a
Right.
thing that we saw. So that's cool. But they've been very successful over the years with river cruises. So
Absolutely.
this will be funny, interesting to see. You think they'll price themselves a little bit lower than the other guys?
Given what I've seen from Royal Caribbean and celebrity pricing of late, I think they'll be right in there at the sort of the average, if you will. I doubt they'll be lower. There could be some introductory pricing to kind of get the brand off the ground. I don't know, but they are able to attract a premium, and I expect they'll be able to do that here too.
Right. Yeah, I've only done one. I've only done one celebrity cruise, and it was on the Silhouette. And it's funny that was, and we did the blue aqua class,
Yeah.
and I felt that was a pretty more. I feel like, and also I've only taken Royal Caribbean like
Right.
once as well. So for me, I felt like that Celebrity was a much better experience,
Yeah.
maybe because of the. But back then, this was like 2015, so
Sure.
it wasn't very
It's
expensive to go
still
on a
the
cruise.
same. It's a little more upmarket. I don't know, maybe W Hotel versus Marriott vibe. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So, and the last thing we wanted to chat about today is the Villa V. And the Villa V, for
Okay.
those who don't know, is a ship that you can buy a piece of, and you can move in your cabin, and it starts at like 100 grand you pay to get in there, and you have ownership for 15 years. And in addition to that, you got to pay like maintenance fees, which is like from 5,000 per cabin. I think it's 4,000 for one person and $1,000 extra for the second for an inside cabin, and then it goes up a little bit for like outside and stuff. And it's an old Fred Olsen ship from the 90s that they have done a lot of repairs to, and they're still doing repairs to while they're on their way. A lot of drama and controversy in the beginning. It's not usually companies that have multi-million-dollar assets and multi-million-dollar budgets, probably, I think it's fair to say, they behave a little bit differently.
Yep.
But the owner of the cruise ship, he seems kind of cool. I think he's from Sweden originally,
No.
and his wife is from Florida, and they're on the boat, and they're involved, and all sorts of things. So kudos to them. They everybody thought they were going to go belly up, and here they are. They sailed started in Belfast, and now they're in Patagonia. So they went through the canal. They went through, they went down the coast of Spain. They went to a couple stops in Morocco and stuff, and they went to Cape Verde Islands, crossed the Atlantic, went through the Caribbean, through the canal, and then down to Chile and stuff like that, down to, and now they're in Patagonia.
Hey, sounds fun to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would do an inside cabin, though.
It'd be a hard sell for that length of time.
Right. So I think the monthly maintenance fee is $8,000 per month for the balcony cabin.
If you have the money to spend, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, though, so it is limited drinks included, so you can get schnookered every day. There is. Not that I'm condoning that, but it's a possibility. And from what I've seen, both the food and the liquor is better than American Airlines.
Well, okay.
Some contest, right? And then you've got, the port fees and all that stuff, tips, tax, all that kind of crap is included. So I would say, if you're retired and you have the money and you want to go around the world, it's not the worst idea. I mean, you have the world.
Absolutely.
You remember that ship, right?
Absolutely not. I think that would be, if you got the cash, you're retired, don't need to be anywhere, take care of anything, why not do it?
Exactly. And so they have now come out, they seem to be, they've sold a few more cabins lately, right? And, but they still have quite a few that are available on board. And in order to do that, they launched today a new product. And the new product is, if I were to say that it is kind of like like a timeshare is my best way of explaining it.
All
So
right.
here they call it seasonal ownership. Purchase your piece of paradise. So when seasonal ownership, what they mean by that is that you pay 25 grand and then you own points, if you will. And it's a better way to do it for people who are not retired like us, but have a little bit of, well, I have more flexibility. Actually, I don't have more flexibility than you, because when you go on vacation, you actually go on vacation. I don't, which
Right.
kind of blows. But and then you pay 25 grand, and then for that you get 120 credits per year. So it is the cost of buying into the ship as a timeshare, if you will, is 25 grand, and then the annual fee that covers anything on the ship, right? So food, drinks, whatever, fuel, driving around the globe and stuff like that. So you pay $8,000 a year for 120 credits. Now, that to me doesn't seem outrageous, because if you have a week at the Marriott Maui Ocean Club, which is a Marriott vacation club timeshare in Maui,
Yeah.
or on Maui, it is $3,500 a year, and that gives you zero other than the right to use it. The food, the drinks, everything you have to pay for, right? This includes everything. So the 120 credits can be used like this, and they made it fairly simple, because I bet you that it was a board meeting of 3 guys sitting there drinking beers putting this together. That's how I see this company, and that's why I love it. I think that I wish, I'd like, fingers crossed that they make it. I think
Yeah.
that this is like a founders guy who came up with a good idea, and he is battling every day to make it work. So
Marketed the puppy to the hilt, and yeah.
yeah, no kidding. So for 120 credits, you get 60 days for the $8,000. You get 60 days in an inside
Yeah.
villa. And villa is, we're using the term villa loosely here. As you can
Sure.
see in the picture, we're probably 130, 140 square feet we're talking about. And then the ocean view villa, as you can see, people they're using this picture is kind of, I wouldn't do that if I were them, because the bed fits the other way.
Right.
Because here, the only way to look out the window is to crawl over the bed, right? So it fits the other way. There's a ton of channels. DC Hidden Gems. A couple guys that are married that are from DC. They have a good channel on the Villa V. I'd recommend them. All the other ones, they are like very long-winded and it's like Boomer Central videos. And I'm not saying that we're not long-winded, but at the end of the day, the DC Hidden Gems on YouTube is what I would look at.
I'll check
All
that.
right, so that's the Ocean View Villa is that, and that's the one the DC Hidden Gems guy went with first. And it didn't work out for them. It's not enough room, and they upgraded to like a junior suite type of stuff. So they paid more money to get that, but they're full-time living there, right? So that's for the $8,000 a year, you can get 50 days. And then for the balcony villas, which, is a little bit bigger, probably the same size, but it has, obviously little balcony instead, it is 30 days. That they're offering. Yeah, how do you feel about that? What does that feel like?
That's another thing. I think if I had the time and the extra cash floating around, I would at least think about it. I think it's worth
Yeah,
considering.
I think that they're not out of the woods yet. I think that I personally I was like but I feel like I can't do 30 days in a row with the cats and everything like that.
Right.
That's just too much for me. But that's why I kind of. But would I give these guys $25,000? Only if you can lose it. Because what might happen is that in 2 years, if they don't fill up the ship and they run out of cash and they go belly up, you lose your
Exactly.
25K. So would I say that these guys that's going to happen? Well, it's less and less likely every day. I don't know how they are doing, but let's take a peek of that of how they are doing with the cabins, because they have the cabins are published on their website, who's taken or not.
Yeah.
So here you can see the red ones are bought. They're owned by somebody, or reserved or under maintenance is what it says, meaning that
Okay.
somebody's living there.
Yeah.
And then so that means that somebody's bought them or they are under maintenance, right?
Right.
The green ones are for sale. Anybody can buy those, right? And they're Claire. She wants to sell me a cabin.
Of course you do.
And then you have the yellow ones. Is you can purchase a month or a segment on this cruise, right?
Okay.
It's not cheap. It's too much money for an old ship like this for that. I don't find the value there. I find the value in owning and being there. It's much, much cheaper to do it like that than it is to go on a world cruise, right? Yeah, so deck two, I think they're using a lot of those lower end cabins for crew. I'm not sure though, but it's all red. Here you have it, and this is big progress since the last time. So these are the window ones, right? That doesn't have a balcony.
Yeah.
What are they going for now? 150,000 for the one with the portholes, and you pay 5,000 a month. You pay as the fee for being on board 24/7. I mean, that's rent.
Absolutely. A lot of places.
Yeah, so it seems like they've sold quite a few. They've sold a lot more. Deck four, a little bit more skittish, and so this is the one that has the window, I think. Yeah, so they didn't have the porthole ones in their timeshare thing, so those must mostly been sold. So you buy for 170 grand. You buy the outside window, and still 5,000 a month. Fair enough. And then you've got the theater, the morning light club, and the library, and that kind of stuff. And here we have, are these balcony ones?
Some of them are at least, and I don't know if they all are or not. Nah, so,
No, hang on, look, here we go. Those in the middle are.
yeah.
So this is a balcony one. This is at $290,000. Now we're cooking with butter, right? And also they want 7 grand for the maintenance fee here. And that's a single bed.
Hey,
They need
look
to
at that.
They need to change their photo. Oh, there you go. That's better. Why don't they have this as the featured photo? And they also, if they get rid of that wood thing there,
Yeah.
then it looks. Then if they get rid of all that wood stuff that's on the trim that's here, the cabin looks 20 years younger.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And that probably takes the maintenance got about 15 minutes to do. So I mean, it's starting to fill up here. It's starting to fill up nicely. Here you go.
Deck 7 too.
Pardon?
I said deck 7 as well.
Yeah, it looks, and these are all balcony, and this one is more. It's more money. It's $340,000 and the $8,000. Here's a bigger one, balcony suite. That's the wrong photo, right?
Yeah.
It completely is because that's definitely not that cabin. Yeah, they could take some pictures and do some things for sure instead of. And here on the top floor, we saw these ones. These ones are kind of probably quiet back there, but there's the Villa V Lounge. So this is probably elevators. So I don't know how desirable these ones are. Probably that's why they haven't sold any of them. Oh, they look a lot better than the other ones, though.
They do.
And this one is 9,000, right?
Hey, you get a desk. Look at that.
You can write a letter home to mama.
And a towel.
So I don't know. I think that it's interesting, and there's still a little bit of drama. And I honestly, if I had the money if I could afford to lose it, I would do it. I think that these guys deserve the credit they have. They've now been sailing since September of last year. They're still in business. I can put my stamp of approval on these guys with the disclaimer that it might happen that they go belly up, but I don't think so.
Hope not. I would. I'd do it like you. Had the money and could afford to lose a little just in case. I'd do it.
Yeah, I think the timeshare thing seems very creative, and I think that fits me better. than being there the whole time, you know, because sometimes it's nice to have your house in the same place for a while.
No doubt.
But yeah, for those who are interested, I would say check out the DC Hidden Gems, like in Washington DC. So
Uh-huh.
DC Hidden Gems is the name of the channel. For those who want to check that out, that would be a good place to start to learn about the Villa V and the stuff that's happening on board. So there you have it.
Yeah. Cool.
I think that's all we wanted to chat about today.
That sounds super. Lots going on.
All right.
And
So
let me know how
yeah,
summer is.
I think that it's might be a time soon for us to start planning a cruise together, and so we can finally get our big dream together to sit on the balcony and doing the podcast there with the bullshit on the balcony.
You know, I think we should do that in an overwater cabana at Coco Cay. And,
Coco, they have overwater cabanas?
They do in the beach club.
Ah, okay.
They're
So
not
do the
cheap.
celebrity people, do they get in there?
Celebrity stops at Coco Cay now. So that's
Yeah, I like celebrity more than your favorite, to be honest with you. So maybe we'll scope out that.
we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. All right, thanks everybody for joining, and yeah, that's the cruise news of today.
But
A little bit long-winded, and we'll try to tighten it up a little bit next time. Thanks everybody. Ciao.